Yeah, we're live. Okay. Hello and welcome to another episode of Ringside Fracas. Today I'm joined by Mark. Mark, how are you, bro?
I'm good, thank you. How are you? Thank you for having me on.
I mean, we've got a special episode, and obviously, Mark, because you're Ghanaian, I had to bring you on as well. We've got, like I said, we've got a special episode. And I told you last week, like, keep watching. We've got special episodes coming in to you. And what a way to start our specials off with the two-time British Middleweight Champion and former world title challenger, Denzel Too Sharp Bentley. Denzel, thank you for joining us. How are you, bro?
Oh, thank you for having me, man. I'm all good, thanks, man. How you been?
Bro, I've been good, bro. Like, it's just for me, this is fun because I've been watching you, following your career since the Heffron fight. So finally being able to get a chance to talk to you is a big honor for me. So thank you again for giving us your time.
I appreciate that.
Just wanted to catch up with you. How's everything been? How have you been since we last seen you? Obviously out. How's everything been for you?
Yeah, no, I've been all right. Been calm. Here or there, just chilling, relaxing, enjoying some time off and that with family and stuff. So yeah, nothing really. Nothing really interesting.
No, that's perfect. Obviously I think the main kind of thing that we kind of want to first tackle is your last fight, obviously with Nathan Heaney, which I thought the card, by the way, was a brilliant card. The Magnificent Seven, like from top to bottom, that was one. I think you headlined like one of the best British cards we've had in that year, because you had obviously Nick Ball versus Isaac Dogbay, your fight with Nathan Heaney. You also had Solomon Dakers on the undercard. You also had Nathaniel Collins, Liam Davies. So you had some really good names and great British names and British fights to be a headline of. How did it, when that card sort of got suggested to you, and obviously Nathan Heaney as the opponent, how did that sort of come about, and how did you sort of feel about being on top of that card?
Yeah, no, it was amazing, man. I mean, went to the office to speak to Frank about the next fight, and then he told me about it, and then he mentioned the Isaac fight with Nick Ball, and I was like, oh, that's a fight. Do you know what I mean? And I was like, all right. Then, of course, the announcement came out, the card came out, and I was like, this is shaping up well, and certain fights, I was like, yeah, this is one of them cards where if I went on it, I'd have went to go see it. You know what I mean? So it was an honor to be on that card, let alone headline it. So it's good, man.
No, it was a fantastic card. I, like you were saying, like that Nick Ball, Isaac Dogbay was probably like, you knew them two, like the winner of that will probably go on to challenge for world titles, like Nick Ball's about to do in March. And your fight as well, looking at Nathan Heaney, because obviously we all know that Heaney is obviously an undefeated middleweight fighter, but also the fact that he brings that that Stoke audience with him as well. So we knew that we were going to get a good audience, a good atmosphere for the fight. How did you find the sort of atmosphere when you were there for the whole week? How did you find that?
It was a good atmosphere, man. It was crazy atmosphere. I mean, it was loud in there. It was packed out. It was a good atmosphere. I mean, I enjoyed the atmosphere, if I'm being honest.
What do you do, like when you're fighting and you're sort of going into, especially in that type of environment where I'd assume like most of the audience was probably a lot of the audience would have been there for Heaney, and because it was quite a big Stoke crowd that he managed to draw out. How do you sort of deal with that when you're going into fight week and when you're going into the fight, like walking into the fight?
Well, fight week, there wasn't really anyone around, if that makes sense. So it wasn't really an issue. And on fight night, I don't really think there's anything to deal with. I just think it's just a night of boxing, and there's fans and they're cheering for you, they want to cheer for. I don't think it was anything that I felt like I have to deal with, because it didn't bother me, if I'm being honest. If anything, I probably kind of enjoyed it.
You see, with as in like now you mentioned the Magnificent Seven card. Obviously, I think it's returning March the 31st in Birmingham.
Yeah.
Like, did you have any plans to like return on that card? Maybe like join that card?
No, I didn't even know about it. I kind of saw it online and I was like, oh, sick, they're doing it again. I didn't know about it.
Okay. I think it would have been great to have you on that card, to be fair. Like, especially like with the last one as well, and sort of the success from the last one. So I think it would have made sense if he was on that, but it is what it is, I guess.
Yeah,
Yep.
I mean, I would. To be honest, I wouldn't have been ready in the first place because I was in Ghana. I just got back
Okay.
last week, and of course it's all 7 title fights in it, and I no longer have a title, so I've got to sit
Okay.
this one out.
Makes sense. No, but I guess you could have probably run it back. I guess maybe.
Yeah, 100. I would have loved to, but listen, politics and boxing. That's not coming.
Of course.
Yeah, I ain't getting that back. Yeah.
Nah, because this Magnificent Seven card that they're doing now, I kind of feel like your one, the one that you did, was quite. There were more competitive matchups and much more greater matchups. This one, I don't feel the same. It's still, packed with, good British fighters, but I don't feel like the fights are as competitive as they were on your card. Like, for example, Joe Joyce is obviously coming back against Cash Ali, and no disrespect to Cash Ali, but going from Zhilei Zhang to back down to Joe Joyce to Cash Ali is a bit of a, you kind of know who's going to win that. But on your card, it was kind of you kind of had an idea who the favorites were, but you knew it was a competitive fight enough to take it. So, talking about obviously Nathan Heaney, obviously the fight happened and it was unfortunately you lost by a majority decision. To you, what did you think was happening when you were in the fight itself that you thought went wrong, and what would you have changed about that fight?
My head weren't even there. I'll be honest. There was just a lot going on. I'll probably do it again, to be honest. But like, I probably should have just said, "Let me get a bit of time and let's postpone the fight." Do you know what I mean? But that's where I made a mistake and kind of I wouldn't say underestimating, but not giving Heaney the full respect he deserved. As he was gonna prepare for this fight, I was just like, you know what, I'll be all right. You know what I mean? Let me just get through this fight and I'll deal with whatever I need to deal with later. So I went into the fight, the quickest 12 rounds has ever gone in my life. I turned around and I was like, well, the fight's over already. And then it was like, all right, cool. So how did it go? And I'm looking around and everyone's making faces and I'm like, did I lose this? I weren't even there. I weren't noticing I was losing. My corner was talking to me and I'm just like, yeah, it's like in one ear out the other. I'm like, I'm going to catch him at some point. But I just weren't there mentally in it. And I'm not one to go out and make excuses. So I just take the L and move on. You feel me? So I'm not going to go around saying, oh, but I wasn't good. It is what it is. He beat me. Well done, man. You prepared better than I did, of course. And you got the win. I'm not going to throw my toes at the pram. But the reason why at first, it was killing me. But I think the reason why I'm so calm with it now is because I know why. I know why. So if I go out into my next fight and have a stinker, then it's like, yeah, maybe I'm just not good enough. So I'm all right. I've told my team, look, I don't want no comeback fights. I don't want no like 8-rounders, 6-rounders.
Straight back into the deep end.
I'd rather not. Yeah, I'd rather not box. Like, just let me get like another challenging fight and let's just continue this journey. I know it's going to be more difficult because I'm coming off a loss, but let's just try the best we can to get a credible opponent. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those things, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the thing about you, which I quite admire, is the fact that a loss doesn't kind of deter you. You sort of, what we've seen with your attitude to losses is kind of you accept it and then you move forward with it. The problem we kind of had with boxing nowadays is like someone loses and boxing fans kind of fall apart when that person loses. Like, you saw the reaction to when AJ lost his first fight to Ruiz, like how big the sort of PR shift was from him, from being sort of the media darling to now everyone kind of hating him. Even now, I feel like when you sort of talk about AJ in the boxing space, because of that one loss against Ruiz, people kind of don't look at him the same way that they did before then. It's hard to build back from it. But with you built back from it before, with the Felix Cash loss, like, because before you came on before prior. And for those that are listening, if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, I'd pause this right now and go back to watching our podcast then, because that was a brilliant special. We got to learn so much about you. Was that after the Felix Cash fight, a lot of fighters tend to, even at that stage, because they don't feel like they've done what they feel they could achieve, they fall apart and they don't really get that same momentum back in their career. But with you kind of went on the sort of biggest momentum out of anyone in the middleweight division that we've seen. And I've been praising that for quite a while, that, you saw that Denzel Bentley been having 4 fights. He's fought the guys of like Sam Evans, Linus Adofia for the British title again.
That was a class fight, to be fair.
It was a very good fight. Marcus Morrison, and then obviously Janibek and Nathan Heaney. And if you look at the combined records of all of those opponents, that's 99.
And who did I fight
Kieran
in
Smith.
April? Kieran Smith, that's it. Yeah,
That's it,
against
yeah.
Kieran Smith,
Oh yeah, that was another
That knockout was amazing. Like
yeah.
that was a great
That'd be a
knockout.
contender for sure.
Yeah, and if you look at the all of those guys, if you combine their opponents' records, and I kind of do this when I look at certain fighters because it gives you a certain insight. It doesn't tell you everything about a fighter, but it gives you certain insight. And that
yeah, of
the
course.
combined record of your last couple of opponents was 99-6, which is an insane thing to think about. That even that you've been fighting all these top guys and you've been putting it on regardless, and you're not kind of that type of person where, oh, I need to take these easier fights. You're taking these fights that on paper should be hard. Like Kieran Smith shouldn't have been a one-round knockout the way you did it, but it was.
Yeah.
So, and Marcus Morrison's been around the block for quite a bit, and you kind of went, you in my opinion, you ran through him. Like you completely just, yeah, you did what you needed to do, and you knocked him out, and you got a good knockout against him as well. What I wanted to ask through all of that, so sorry for ranting, but through all of that, I wanted to ask was, what's your mindset after those kind of losses? Like throughout that sort of run that you've been putting on, was there an importance that, okay, I lost, but I need to still stay active so that I can still, because it's not the end, I can still keep pushing forward to something bigger?
I think the cash one, it was like because it was the first loss, it obviously hurt the most. So it was like, okay, what do I do? I'm not going to quit. So what's the point of not being in the gym? So I'm in the gym, but every time you're around boxing, someone wants to remind you of what happened and ask you what happened. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I can't sit on this because if every time someone sees me, they're going to talk about the last thing I've done. The last thing I need to do needs to be a win as opposed to performance. So I was itching to get out. There was just like so many things that was just annoying. I mean, I got put on the Sonny Edwards undercard and he got injured, so the whole card got pulled. I almost went to Russia to fight, just to come back, one of their undefeated fighters. And then, and then obviously we got put onto the card in November in Birmingham with like 2.5 weeks notice. And I was like, oh, whatever. At the time, I didn't know nothing about Sam Evans. I just knew he was 10-1 or 11-1 or something like that. I can't remember. 13. Whatever he had one loss, like 13 fights or something. I was like, alright, cool. No, it might have been 10. So I'm even mad. But and then I thought, alright, cool, whatever. I went out there, ended up stopping him, and I was like, okay, I'm back in there. And then I came back to the gym. That was in November. I came back to the gym in the new year, and manager was like, alright, cool, we might get that British title fight. If I'm being honest, I'm like, alright, cool, straight away, or we having one more fight? And he was like, no, we can get it next because Cash has gone MIA and obviously Linus is mandatory and you've just had a win, so you could be able to get put straight back into contention for it. And I was like, I would have preferred another fight just because obviously it was my first loss, just for that confidence booster. But then when they put it on me saying, look, it's there, I said, all right, cool. I mean, that's not really my thing to say I don't want to fight someone or I'm scared to fight someone. I've never done that. And me and Linus were meant to fight, or not meant to, but could have fought a while back for the Southern area.
Yeah.
And I remember trying to push that hard, and him and Steve Gordon rather was like, nah, we're not doing that. So I'm like, yeah, there's no way I'm taking this fight. So I'm like, there's just no way I'm not gonna take this fight. I'm taking this fight. So yeah, took the fight. Close fight, good fight. We earned each other's respect in that fight, and then obviously it was wherever it was from then.
Had you sparred each other before?
Like, never sparred each other before.
Okay.
Never. Yeah.
That's the point.
My thing is like I just got to be active. But yeah, say again.
Yeah, that's the point I was trying to make. Is like if you compare, and I'm just comparing just because it's a good reference to show that in our last pod that we did with you, you did mention that you have that throwback mentality that you want to keep fighting and fighting top guys. You're not waiting around, sort of doing this thing where you kind of sit on the top shelf and then not let anyone come near you. You want to fight everyone, and you've kind of proved that because since the Felix Cash fight, you've had, I think it was like 6 fights since then, and 7 fights in the last 3 years. And you look at Felix Cash, and he's only had like 2 fights since your fight together. And that's the importance I think people are kind of missing, that boxers need to not only just stay active, but sort of the quality of the opposition, which is what you've been doing for the last 3 years now, is you've been putting on these good fights against these top opponents that, okay, maybe they're not known of, but they're still good opponents that are going to come in there, try to give a good fight. And that's why I appreciate you for, is that we need more fighters like you who are going to take the initiative to keep fighting, stay active, and also not, it's just not against less than stellar opposition. It's still people that are going to give them a good fight. So thank you for what you've done in the last 3 years, because it's been fun watching.
No, thank you, man.
Would this be like the longest layoff of like your career, like so far?
No, I think the longest layoff might have been when I lost the cash to when I fought Sam Evans. I think it might have been.
Really?
To be honest, it might have been the same distance as because I fought Cash in April, and then I fought Sam Evans in November. So that's kind of like the same layoff I had last year, and I don't like that because I'm in the gym for long, and I'm like, I want to fight and peak, and then have my time off, and then come back and have to do it again. But to just stay at like a certain type of fitness for like 7-8 months, it's just like you can switch off in it. It's easy to just switch off, and like, you know what, I missed out on so much. Yeah, I missed out so much outside. Like I missed the whole summer, I missed this, and then you just subconsciously start trying to catch up on things that really are not important. But at the time, it's like, oh, I missed out on the whole summer. I didn't travel. I didn't this. But it's my job, innit? So I take it as it is. But that's how I see it. I see it as my job. A lot of people see it as a business type of thing. Like, oh no, it's business. But that's why we have managers, innit? They're meant to handle the business side and make sure we get paid the most. But a lot of fighters nowadays, they're known swervers, like, and they don't get called out for it. Like a lot of fighters, like they will tell you, why would I fight you now when I can fight you later? And it's like, because I'm here now. And then everyone buys into the whole business side of things, and it's like, that's not your business. It's not the fans' business. What I earn isn't the fans' business.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What fighters earn isn't your business, is to, you know what I'm saying, that be entertained by a good fight. And my job is to make sure that I'm entertaining you guys with a good fight. So it's like, the managers do what they need to do in putting fights together and guiding you and whatever. And the fighters just have to do their job. But a lot of fighters do their manager's job for them and just be like, no, why would I do that when I can do this and blah, blah, blah. And they're known swervers. That's boxing nowadays. They're known swervers. I mean, I started boxing late, so I'm not going to act like I watched all these guys in the 80s, because I wasn't even born anyway. But when you go back and watch these guys, they all fought each other. You know what I mean? Like, you look at the Fantastic Four type or whatever they were called. They all fought each other. Not one of them escaped the Fabulous Four, so not one of them escaped without fighting the other. Every single one of them fought each other.
And I think also as well, like, people think like a loss is so detrimental to your career, but like, I feel like, see with you, because like your fighting style and sort of like your following, like, touch with that, you don't have another loss or whatnot. But even if, let's say you did like lose whatever, it's, God forbid, but like you're still going to be in good stead. Like, people are still going to want to watch you. People, it's still going to be in like good matchups because of your entertainment value and whatnot. So I always feel like, regardless of a loss or whatnot, as long as like there's sort of like a entertainment value and sort of like you have like a strong following, what you do, I always feel like you're always going to be a good fight.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. But the only thing about losses is it gives other fighters an excuse to not want to fight.
Yeah.
Because now someone will say, oh, but he's lost, so why would I fight him? Because just for example, right before Heaney, it was all Hamza and Hamza next and blah blah blah. And as soon as Heaney beat me, my name is mentioned again, and I understand how it goes. So I ain't gonna cry about it. It's like whatever, innit? Let's just get back then, isn't it? But now it's like, oh, who do you want next? Chris Eubank, Heaney, da da da. But just the other day it was Denzel, and it's like, yo, I'm still fit, I can still fight. You don't see the point in it no more because you feel like it's less value. And that's my point. It's like, yo, we're not giving fans entertaining fights no more, but everyone wants to be overpaid for having dead fights. And listen, if you're going to overpay someone for having a fight against a cockroach, then, hey, do your thing. I mean, if someone's going to pay me, big money to fight, I'm going to take it. So I'm not against it. I'm not against anyone making money, but you got to put some good fights in there, man.
I definitely think the Hamza fight I think there's a lot of value in it. I don't care. Like, no one can convince me otherwise. Like, of course, like he done the job on like Liam Williams whatnot. But for me, that fight doesn't sort of get like that fight didn't get my juices flowing. Like, I feel like the Hamza Bentley fight or Bentley Hamza, it does like it captures the imagination of the British public and whatnot. I think that's a sick fight, man. Like, regardless of what people say. So. Listen, I think we're just going to beat the drum and sort of like get onto Frank about that because we definitely need to see that.
Yeah, no, 100%. But I need to get back in the winning column to so everyone feels like it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? I mean, listen, I'm not undefeated. I've had losses. I've been a fighter for however many years now. This is what I do. There's no one that can make me feel like, nah, I'm scared to fight them, or no, not now. Listen, like I said, I was gonna fight Linus for the Southern area. Someone could call me stupid, but that's just how I am, innit? Now we fought for the British. Yeah, bigger accolades and more money. That's nice, but I would have done it anyway. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not looking at these guys as future fights. I'm looking at these guys as these are guys that are going to get me to where I want to be. So I got to beat them now and start fighting the big names. Yeah. Unfortunately, on some of them I fell short. Cool, it is what it is. It's life. You fall down, you get up, you try again. But I think the social media world has made taking the L, like for me personally, taking the L means someone beat you up. It's boxing.
Yeah.
So I don't want to take it.
Someone has to win, someone has to lose. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, exactly. But then it's like I don't want to be beaten up. Like, even in a school fight, nah, you're not beat. This is what it is. That's just. So I want to beat everyone, but then there's like everyone that takes a loss so hard because of the social media world. I mean, like you take a loss and you just start getting rinsed. Everyone's on you, on your page, on your social media, and a lot of people can't take that, which is fair. I can understand that people can't take that kind of criticism or whatever. Someone attacking them, but you love all the praise though. When you're getting praised, you love it. You're on socials. You tap in. You look at. We watch every single video where you're being praised.
Yeah.
Now someone's throwing shade or throwing criticism. It's like you want to shy away. Look, you got to take the rough with the smooth, innit? It is what it is. And that's just how I see things. So when I see people commenting mad stuff, sometimes I even laugh and send it to my group chat. Like, yeah, he's funny. But it's just social media. I just because I just kind of like made myself understand that these people don't know me. They enjoy what I do. They're fans of my talent. When they're no longer being entertained by my talent, then I'm not used to them. They don't know me personally. No one can tell you. None of these fans, well, like that, just tweet or write on your Instagram or tweet whatever they want. They don't know me personally, so they can't tell you what type of person I am. All they can tell you is I'm good or I'm bad at what I do, and that's all right. If you think I'm not good at what I do, then I'm not doing enough. I'm not doing good enough, so I got to do more, innit? I can't beg you for your praise. I'm easy, man.
Speaking of getting back into the win column, I don't mean to be that guy, but when can we sort of expect when do you expect to return back to the ring?
April, man. April. I'm back in the gym. I'm doing my thing. I don't like sitting out because, like I said, the longer I sit out, the more you're going to keep asking me questions about my last loss. So, and I don't like. I understand that's how it goes, but I don't like that. I now got to answer questions and I got to find a reason as to why I lost, and I know why I lost. But like I said, I'm not one to fight excuses. Enjoy your win, and if I can catch you in the rebound, I catch you in the rebound, and if not, then I just prove that was an off night by, doing my thing for the duration of my career. That's just how I see things. So, yeah, man. So, hopefully I'm hoping to get in April. I'm in the gym now. I'm training. I'm sparring, whatever I need to do. So, April, yeah, man. And hopefully I'm in a good fight again. I don't really want to be in some warm-up fight and on the bottom of the card and all that stuff. So.
That's perfect, man. Like I said, this is why I like following your career, because like you just said, you want to be a part of the big fights, man. So credit to you for what you're doing, because more boxers need to follow that mentality. The reason I say that is because we lead on to your division, because no offense, but the top of your division is pissing me off, like, because of the way it's being handled. Like, your division used to be such a historic division. If you think of the names like Canelo, Triple G, Marvin Hagler, like the biggest names, Paul Williams, like you've had such huge names in the middleweight division, and they're all fighting. But now it just seems like it's very stale, especially at the top. We're talking about the top. Like, obviously you've got someone like Janibek who has collected 2 belts. But if we're being honest, that IBF champion that he beat, he's not that. He in
was
my
terrible,
opinion,
bro.
He's terrible.
He was terrible. He was terrible.
And then,
no disrespect, I know he was undefeated or something like that, but he was terrible.
Yeah, and then you also got guys like, for example, Jamal Charlo, who haven't defended their belt in 3 years now.
He's on gardening leave. He's on gardening leave. He's just holding the belts for no reason.
And then he's gonna fight Canelo now at super middleweight, but then no one's saying if his belt's going to be released or not, because there's so many guys on the rankings who have fought their way to get there and they're being ignored now. And then you've also got Erislandy Lara, who was the WBA champion, but he only got elevated because he beat guys like Spike O'Sullivan and Thomas Lamana, which, let's be honest, they're not wins that should elevate you to the top.
He got elevated because Golovkin retired, didn't it? And he was the champion.
Because he was the regular.
That's where the sport's going now. yeah. So the sport's going in a direction where it's like a lot of fighters ain't chasing glory in it, and when you're chasing, sometimes you fall short in it. Unless you're Andre Ward or Floyd Mayweather or even Terence Crawford, but not everyone can be those guys. You know what I'm saying? So everyone's chasing big paydays, and rightfully so. So they build their name up, do their thing, have a couple of fights, good performances, social media presence, and all these things, and they're playing the game right. But a lot of them ain't chasing glory. It's like me, I want to be a world champion, so I'm not going to wait until a title's vacant, which is probably the better thing to do, because no one's going to remember, no one's going to care. You want to wait till the belt is vacant and you pick someone in the top 15 and you go for them, and it's me versus them because of the money you bring to the table. The governing bodies will have it, and then you win your title and you're a world champion. You're a world champion. That's the best thing since whoever. But when I want to win a world title, I want to win it against the best in the division.
Yeah.
So there's no denying me, which is why I fought Janibek.
Yeah,
Janibek's a great fighter, but people don't want to unify him because it's like it doesn't pay enough. Or even if someone's willing to take the risk and take the loss and say, we'll pay you what you want, but fight my guy, they're saying, well, he's not really known, is he? He's a nobody. Like he's a unified world champion, but who knows him? So people ain't really chasing the glory of the sport being unified, or he is, but I mean, like a lot of fighters. So you got the WBC to blame for Jamal Charlo's situation. That's the only person we can blame, because they can really and truly make him champion in recess, keep the belt active, and when he gets back, he fights the champion. They don't want to do that for whatever reason. I understand they're giving him time off for his mental issues, but he's come back. He come back at 164, and he's come back again at 168. He's no longer a 160 pounder. You got to do one or the other: make him champion in recess or strip him of his title and keep the belt active. But even if he was champion at 160, a lot of people won't fight him anyway. I mean, the only person that probably fight him is the Adamus. A lot of people that are up and coming that are ranked to WBC wouldn't fight him because they're thinking, I'm already getting paid to do certain things, let me swerve this way. A perfect example is Munguia. If I'm getting 6 figures to fight a bum with 5 losses in Mexico, why am I rushing to fight anyone? Why am I fighting Janibek for the same money?
Yeah.
Why would I do that? I've been a world champion at the weight below. I'm coming up. He's not really about the glory, is he? He's about the money. He's taking some tough fights now. He fought Derevenchenko, he fought John Ryder at 168. But now you're chasing that Canelo money. Yeah. You know against your chances against Canelo are probably slim, but you're going to make the most money you've ever made in your life. It's worth the loss.
Yeah,
it's worth it. If I lose, it's worth it. And if I win, wow, So those are the only risks people are willing to take. No one wants to fight Janibek because it's like, what's the risk versus reward? You know what I mean? I mean, they the guy with the IBF, they overpaid that guy because they wanted to get that for Janibek. They would do that for anyone else because they believe in their guy. But it's like if you lose to Janibek, like what does it do for you compared to if you lose to Canelo? Yeah. Oh, well, you lost to Canelo. You know what I'm saying? You got Chris Eubank Jr. that's been mandatory or number 1 with the WBO for how long? Hasn't mentioned Janibek's name. Well, I've heard now they're trying to make that, but he hasn't mentioned his name. So, and he's 33, 34.
Yeah.
So what is he chasing? Glory or money? He made a lot of money off the back of his dad's name, but he has done what he's done. He performed how he performed, and he's got to where he's got to. Cool, but that Eubank name gave him that booster. Now, we all know his dad retired by his age. Do you want to be a world champion, or you're just in it for the money? If you're in it for the money, there's certain fights you ain't going to take. If you want to be a world champion, that Janibek fight would have got made yesterday, and he would have been in the UK already because he's dying for a publicized fight, like someone famous, like he says, or someone with a big name to fight, even though he has 2 belts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Erislandy Lara, he's being held up by PBC because they want him for Danny Garcia.
Yeah.
The WBA need to call it mandatory. There's people in that rankings that are ready to fight. So that's why the middleweight division is being held up. It's just about I want more money. Or I'm not going that way because it's not this, it's not that, or someone, you know what I mean? He's not big enough name, so they'll rather go somewhere else and fight someone else with a bigger name, innit? Maybe at a weight that ain't their weight, or someone that ain't got a belt, but it's more money. And you can't knock people for, taking an option with money. But then they just question you, like, do you want glory or money? Because they're 2 different things in the sport, and with the glory comes the money. But nowadays with social media, you can make money without the glory, so I guess that's why a lot of fighters prefer the misfits and YouTube thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everyone acts like that's taking over boxing. You got a lot of boxing outlets and the boxing media's paying attention to the misfits thing because it makes the money, innit? as the outlet. So that's what everyone's chasing. So everyone's kind of selling themselves for money. But at the end of the day, me personally, I want to be a world champion, and I pray I can be one. I mean, I'm working my hardest. If I don't become one, I know that I've tried my hardest. I'm saying, but it's what it is, man.
You are definitely one of the guys that's working hard. Like, what I heard about the Janibek fight was that you weren't the first option. Like, they had a lot of people in the rankings before that swerved that fight completely. I think Hamza Shiraz was one of the people that didn't want to take on Janibek, but you, as soon as that sort of world title opportunity dropped in your lap, you took it straight away and you went there. What was it like? Did it ever hit you when you were in fight week and during the fight that you were actually fighting for a world title? Because I'm assuming like it's such a big fight to have.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I just tried to keep seeing it as another fight. I mean, when I got in the ring and I saw the belt, I was like, oh, I can actually have that. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
It's right there. That's when I was like, oh snap. And like the venue wasn't massive, so it was quite small, and you just had his lot on one side and all of my lot on one side, and it was like they were so close. I could hear them going back and forth. It was crazy. But fight week and stuff, I didn't really let it get to me because I'd been there for like 3 weeks anyway beforehand. So we was there training. We trained out of Floyd Mayweather's gym. That was like mad to me. I was like, so everything else wasn't too mad because I'm like, oh, I watched this shit on YouTube. Like, I'm in Floyd's gym doing a madness. Imagine he walks in. That's crazy. Like, you know, everyone from our generation's favorite fighter is Floyd Mayweather, bro. Like, you can't deny it.
Yeah.
So we're just there, and I'm like, oh wow, like, I'm in his gym. Like, I've watched this. This is all access shit. I'm training in the gym. They're looking it off for me. I'm coming at certain time. It's just me. For me, when I need sparring, they're bringing me sparring partners. One of the guys in there, like cousin Steve, he was a G. He properly looked after us. Had Coach Bullet in there, like helping us out, looking after us as well.
Yeah.
It was just sick. And then coming to fight week was when I met all the top ranked guys because they only wanted to be there for fight week, so we had to kind of fund the other 2 weeks ourselves, innit? So that's when I met all the top ranked guys, and it's like, okay, we're going to this press conference in there, and I was like, oh wow, like this is top rank. People are sending me like YouTube clips of like, you know, when Top Rank do their thing and you're on the screen and like, raw, you're on Top Rank. I'm like, snap, this is I'm not watching it, if I'm being honest. I don't really like watching myself, so I'm just watching like movies and stuff, and people are saying to me, I'm like, wow, this is mad. Come at the hotel, and then the weigh-in day was when we had to go do that fighters meeting thing.
Yeah,
and that's probably the only day that kind of pissed me off because you got like Mark Kriegel, Timothy Bradley, and all these people in there just like, kind of just asking you like, why do you think you're gonna beat this guy? And I'm like, am I not allowed to think I can beat someone? They're like, oh, but like this is like the biggest day of your life. Like, you just flew all the way to. I'm like, bro, it's another day. It's another day. So what do you mean it's another day? You flew all the way from the UK. I'm like, all right, cool, because I had to. But this is what I do. I'm a fighter. Like, this is another. Like, I didn't come here to come and soak up the moment and think I've made it when I ain't done nothing yet. Like, I'm not coming here to just be starstruck by anyone, like not even you guys. I didn't come here to just be like, oh my days, I made it to Vegas. Bro, it's a flight. You know what I mean? Like, I'm coming here to fight, got on the plane, came down. It's what it is, isn't it? Like, I'll enjoy everything that I'm seeing when I win. Let me beat this guy. And how you gonna win? I'm like, well, I think I can knock him out. He's like, well, you think you can knock him out? I'm saying, bro, who is this guy for you to think he can't be knocked out? I think I
arms,
can
2 legs.
can hurt him.
It's a human.
Yeah, they're looking at me like, wow, you really think so? I'm saying, yeah, because he thinks he's a big puncher, but he don't know that he's mad. He does know, obviously, but he's mad skilled. It's not his power that's knocking him out, it's his sharpness and his skill set and the way he sets people up. But if he thinks he's just going to throw a big haymaker and knock me out, cool, we'll see who lands first, innit? That's how I'm seeing it.
You see with him, yeah, like, obviously, that you've been, like, fighting sort of, like, at a certain level with, like, the majority of your career. What was it that he did well that you thought, rah, like, I'm really with the big boys? Like, what was it that he did that made you think this is what I need to do to get to like the next level?
You know, like, it was his foot placement that was like so like precise. His foot would be there, but he's not there. I'm thinking, you're close enough to me. And then I'm hesitating to throw a shot because I can feel, oh, maybe you're a bit too far. But he's always close enough to hit me, but not close enough to get hit. And like the first couple rounds, the first 4 rounds, that's how I saw it until I just started pressing him like, I'm gonna have to sit on you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because right now with the boxing, you're just out of the way. You're just out of the way by a little bit, and you're countering me. And I'm just coming up, man. I'm like, then as I got closer, I felt him getting tired. I'm like, this guy's human. I knew it. I hit him with a body shot, and I heard him go, ooh. And I was like, yeah, I got him. But
What
the
round
maddest
was
thing was
this?
I couldn't get that shot again.
What round was this?
This was in the, I think it was like the 5th or 6th. It wasn't too late in the fight.
Yeah.
But I couldn't get that shot again. Couldn't get that shot again.
Do you see like when you
sure I broke his ribs.
You see like when you have
Came
like
to change him holding his rib like that. Yeah.
See like when you have like little successes and whatnot, yeah. Do you feel like I can hang at this level, like when you have like those little
it wasn't so much as I can hang at this level, it was like, oh, I can get him.
Yeah.
So I mean it's like, oh, I can get him. Like he's there, he's normal, he's human. Like, I can get him, and then I'm hearing him get tired. I'm like, he's getting tired, he's not even fitting me. But then he's kind of bad in his time. He's working. He's making himself look busy, but he's not doing anything. He's getting his breath back. He goes again.
It's the tricks, the little tricks.
Like, I'm just like, oh, get on him. Like he's tired, but he knew how to pace himself well, man. He's smart, man. He's smart.
I think
when he started using his brain, it was.
I hear that, man. But I also always feel like it's just an experience thing, innit? So like the more like you have these sort of fights, the more you become accustomed to like the little tricks and like the things that you got to do. So I don't think it's necessarily like, of course, the ability plays a part, but I also feel like a lot of times it's experience, and I feel like the more you like have those sort of type of fights or within like that sort of level, you become accustomed to it, and you become sort of like more privy to it. So I don't think necessarily like you're going to be like out of your depth in the future or whatnot. I just think it's just a lack of experience per se. So I definitely feel like the more you stay active, like the more you're going to become sort of like more switched on and whatnot. So yeah, like God willing, you
most
get
definitely.
more.
Like, no, thank you, but it's just what you said, experience. That's the only thing I like in the sport, and I'm gaining it as I'm going along.
Yeah,
like I'm not one to, like I said, I don't like making excuses. I am who I am. I've done what I've done, but I was amateur for 3 years. I had 17 amateur fights. That's it. That's 17 amateur fights, and I turned pro. By my 13th fight, I'm fighting for a British title.
That's crazy.
Turned pro at 22, 25. I'm fighting for the British title. Then I'm fighting Mark Heffron, who's been a pro longer than I've been boxing. Then I'm fighting Cash, GB squad, doing his thing. Okay, cool. Yeah. All these guys I'm fighting have had way more experience than me in boxing. Have been boxing longer than me. This year would be like 10 years of me boxing all over, like since I've been competing.
Amateur included.
You know what I mean? Amateur included.
Bloody hell.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like I'm stepping up against these guys just because of my
willingness,
my discipline and my determination to the sport. Like because I knew I started late, I knew I had to put in more work. So I'm putting in more work. I'm not taking long times off. I'm not taking long. I can't afford to do that. I need to keep learning. So now I'm getting in there, and I'm just always willing to fight. I love to fight. I mean, I'm tough naturally. So all I needed was experience and some skills. So it was like, oh, who's there? All right, cool, let's go. That's all I've been. My amateur career, I didn't care who it was. Is that who we're fighting? All right, let's fight then. It's like, all right, win, lose, or draw, you go again. And in the pros, it's like, all right, cool. Obviously, you don't want to lose because it counts more as a pro. But it's like, I think I can beat this guy. I don't care how long he's been boxing for. So these are things that I'm lacking. I'm missing that experience, like all these different styles I ain't come up with in the amateurs. And then it's like, okay, cool. Go in there. I carry power, so that helps a lot as well. And I know the basic fundamentals, but I'm learning. Like when I'm in there at the end of it, this is someone that's had like 300 amateur fights in boxing since a kid.
Yeah.
If I had beat him, wow. Do you know what I mean? That's like, I've just scrapped the whole playbook. You ain't got to be boxing from 5 years old no more. Start at 19 and beat these guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what it is, isn't it? So, I mean, I don't take it as, oh, man, obviously you lose. So it's like, damn, I lost. But I'm not taking it as, oh, man, I put my whole life into this stuff. I put the last 10 years into it. You know what I'm saying? And because of the work I put in and the consistency, I've gotten far in those 10 years, amateur and pro. I mean, I've done more as a pro, but it's like, guys that have been pro longer than me and they ain't done nothing. They might be undefeated, but they ain't fought for world titles. They ain't even fought for a British title. I've won it twice. You know what I'm saying? And they've been boxing, they've been pro probably 10 years. I ain't even been pro that long. So it's like, you ain't done all these things. You might be undefeated and that, but I mean, when it comes to accolades, you ain't done what I've done. But it is what it is. I mean, people only remember the guys that are undefeated or had a good performance against someone that don't mean nothing. But that's just the game we're in, innit?
Yeah.
It would have been one of those wins where it probably would have been one of the best British away title fights wins that we've had, because I think the only one that matches it is probably Lloyd Honeyghan versus Donald Curry. I think because as I said, the narrative going into that fight was all with Janibek. Janibek was the massive favorite, but in that fight, like you was talking about your grit, I think that kind of shook Janibek a bit, because I was watching that fight live, and I can see by his face that he didn't expect this fight to be this difficult and this tough.
Yeah.
And he had to pull something out. He had to pull something out because he didn't expect to pull that out of him for this fight. So like you really did stick it onto him in that fight. One thing I was going to say though is that I don't want you to take this the wrong way, but I personally, like, because you were saying earlier, I don't think that guys like you or Shiraz would get like the Eubank or the Liam Smith fights, because like you said, I feel like they're at that stage in their career where they're not looking to see a up-and-coming fighter, domestic fighter, and try to stop them. Or give them the opportunity at least to see if you can beat us. It's more, like you said, they're in that, because Eubank's been looking at Conor Benn. It's more that looking at what makes me the more money. So
I definitely agree with you. I agree with you, but it doesn't mean I shouldn't say their names. I mean,
no, I agree.
Like, you know what? People love to just, use people's names, and I never say a name that I wouldn't want to fight.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say a name and be like, oh my days, he's really coming. So I'd actually really fight those guys. But I know they're at the stage of their career where they're about to sign out. They want big money for whatever fighters they're gonna have. Or they rather sit out. They might even fight once a year as long as there's a big payday.
Yeah.
They're not gonna give our young, hungry, fighter a chance to come and, take that away from it and retire them for not so much money, unless their back's against the wall and they want to carry on, or unless there's a world title and they still want to be a world champion somewhere. But that's not the case for these fighters at that age. Like, I don't think. Maybe Williams actually. I mean, Smith's a fighter, so I think if he'd have beat Chris Eubank the second time, he would have fought Janibek. But Eubank's about the money, man. Look, they're talking about Conor Benn. He's talking about Kell Brook, someone that's been retired for like 2-3 years now. But you just know it's big money. That's what you're talking about. I don't think I'd ever call out a retired fighter unless they're actually saying something stupid. But that's just where they are in their career, isn't it? And I can't blame them. But someone like Chris Eubank, like I said, I'm not even trying to take a dig at him, because I'd see him and show him love and respect. You know what I mean? Like, if Eubank's fighting, I'm watching, so you can say I'm a fan. I would fight him if the opportunity came. But someone like him isn't trying to be a world champion. I don't think he is.
I think he's more or less in his head. He probably think he's a prize fighter, so I don't think he even cares about the winning titles. I think
100%.
He's more or less, especially when you see like the figures they've been talking about with like Conor Benn and whatever it was with what he got paid for Liam Smith. He's probably thinking he wants to continue earning that sort of money. So yeah, like I can't really see Conor Benn. I mean, not Conor Benn. Sorry, Chris Eubank fighting like anyone sort of like in like the domestic circuit. So it's a shame, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Speaking of other guys at the middleweight division, obviously Hamza Shiraz was out last weekend, and he fought Liam Williams, and he stopped him in the first round after dropping him twice. What were your thoughts on that performance from Hamza Shiraz, and Hamza Shiraz as a fighter as well?
I mean, it was a good performance. I mean, I knew I changed my mind and like on the day, but I still went Hamza win. But before that, I was saying he was going to knock him out because I think his punch resistance is just gone completely. Do you know what I mean? Whether he took that damage in the Andrade fight or whatever began outside, and I don't know, but his punch resistance is gone. And once your punch resistance is gone, I think it's time to hang it up. But I said Eubank put him down with a jab 4 times.
Yeah.
And Hamza's got a good jab. So yeah, all Hamza's got to do is use his jab and just use it to piece him up. The reason why I'm saying it's impressive because I didn't think it would be a round. I thought it was gonna go like 5-6 rounds, and then Williams is just gonna, he's taking too much and he's out. But first round, yeah, I'm not a hater. I gotta give it to you. Do you know what I mean? Like, that was impressive. But you can see the guy's just not who he was. But yeah, I mean, you still have to do it, because the reason why I kind of changed my mind and was like, I don't know if he'll stop him anymore, because of Williams' last performance. When the first fight of Hamza fell through, he boxed someone and he just cleaned him out, and I was like, okay, he's still got that power. So if he lands, he might make Hamza stand off him a bit. And Hamza's not a guy that fights at range, even though he's tall. He don't fight at range. He uses his jab wall, but he don't fight at range. So I thought if they get close enough, Williams could clip him and make him stand off a bit. But I still had Hamza winning. But like I said, first round, listen, clean performance, man. I don't even think he got touched.
No,
No.
barely.
Is that a fight that you think with Hamza Shiraz that because he's only 24, so I feel like they're not in a rush to sort of push him
he's
to
quite
that
young.
world title level. So I feel like that fight is still on the table for you. If obviously if you get a win come April, that fight should still really be on the table for you, no? From their side.
I mean, if it is, I'll take it. If it isn't, then I have to keep fighting, innit? I'm not going to wait for someone. I'm not gonna wait. Even if I'd beat Heaney and whatever, I'm not gonna wait for no one. When I was British champion, we could have made that fight already for the British title, but now Heaney's got it. They feel like it's an easy fight to go for Heaney, innit? Because it makes more sense. It's a less risk, and they're gonna make a lot of money because Heaney sells tickets. So wherever in it, like I said, you're allowed to have handle your career however you want to handle it. I'm just gonna do it how I feel like I want to do it, because at the end of the day, when everyone's talking about great fighters and they're remembering all this, I do want to be mentioned. I do want people to look back at fights and be like, oh, hey, that fight was sick, you know? There's fights I can watch 10 times in a row. I want at least one fight where someone can watch 10 times in a row. Do you know what I'm saying? At least one. I mean, and if you keep fighting a bunch of guys that ain't on your level, you're not going to really get there, are you? So there's loads of guys that have been world champions and ain't been remembered. And there's loads of guys that, you know, and there's loads of guys that are like your favorite fighter's favorite fighter. Like you might not know him at that point, but when you go back and someone's saying, watch this guy, you look back and wow, he was dangerous. Why wasn't he popping around them time when he was with, like, perfect example, what's this guy's name? The Hawk.
Julian Jackson.
Nah, man, not from like he meant to fight Ray Leonard and all them guys there.
Yeah, the one that he's got the hardest knockout punching power.
No, he was a middleweight. This guy's a welterweight. How can I forget his name? I watch him all the time. Oh,
He was a welterweight, did you say?
he meant to fight. Yeah, he wanted to fight Sugar Ray Leonard and that, and then they were like, "Nah, I'm not fighting you." Not Wilfred Benitez. He beat Wilfred Benitez. Is it not? It's not Angulo. Did I throw in that? What time is it? Hog time. Oh, what's his name, man? Oh, bugging. Oh,
It's gonna come. It's
and then he fought. Anyway,
gonna come to me when I'm not even thinking about it.
I'll get it.
I'm looking it up now so I can get it.
Aaron Pryor.
Yeah, I just got it now. yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Aaron Pryor. When you look at that Fabulous 4 era, you don't mention that guy. No one looks at that guy.
Yeah.
I think he's had like one loss, and that was due to like outside life, him just not being focused. He never got his shot. But that guy is a dog. You know what I'm saying? He's a dog.
His fight with Arguello's was. I keep watching that back.
That's the fight. That's the fight that was crazy. Yeah. So I'm saying like things like that. Things like that. It's just boxing, man. I mean, look, everyone's in it to make money. Listen, that's you know, that's a no-brainer. But you want to be known for what you do, innit?
Yeah.
And it's good. But right now, fans are easily bought. Like all you got to do is get an undefeated fighter, says the next big thing, and every fan is jumping on him. So cool. It's like, for example, Edgar Berlanga.
Yeah.
16 wins, 16 knockouts in the first round. Whether they were bums or not, you still got to knock them out. Got to knock them out. But when the promoters are going off about that, they're saying, yeah, look at this guy, 16 first round knockouts. Everyone's jumping on the bandwagon. You know what I'm saying? Making money because the attention, the attraction. People want to see me fight, pay me more, endorsements, whatever it is. Then he gets in there against someone who struggles, and it's like, oh, he's actually not that good. But you didn't check if he was good for yourself in the first place. You got swindled by what his promoter told you. So, boxing fans need to fix up as well still and start making judgments for their own selves and stop listening to who says who's next up and that. I think it's easy to talk your way into a position nowadays. Yeah,
he's one that I remember when they stepped up, and he was on the Fury Wilder 3 undercard, and he fought the guy that Billy Joe Saunders knocked out on KSI and Logan Paul undercard, the Marcelo Esteban Gutierrez.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And Gutierrez dropped him, stuck it on him. I thought Gutierrez won that fight, and that really that's where he kind of unraveled, kind of. So, yeah, with him is like now he's fighting, crazy. I think, Padraig McCrory, and I think their plan kind of is Matchroom because they've signed him. because obviously Top Rank didn't know what to do with him. I think their plan kind of is to push either Diego Pacheco, and try to use that as a Puerto Rico versus Mexico showdown, because obviously that will sell when it comes to ethnicities. It does sell.
Do you know what's so crazy? Because when he was with Top Rank, they kept talking about a future fight with Canelo and stuff. Now Diego Pacheco is cold, by the way. But now you're talking about Pacheco. I'm saying that's a. I don't know if he's talking of a prospect, but he's took his time in his career as well. But he's been dangerous as he's been moving up. Who did he knock out recently? He knocked out someone recently.
The Caceres.
I think it was a Brit.
That same guy that knocked down Belanga, he knocked Caceres out.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, I think Pacheco was good, but then you got Belanga. He's the same age as Benavidez.
Yeah,
it's a good fight. I'm saying someone like Benavidez is a real fighter. You know what I'm saying his resume at 25, 26 is nuts. It's crazy.
What he did in the
fought.
You're gone.
The last fight against Andrade, like he's fought Andrade, he's fought Caleb Plant. Like he's Anthony Darrell.
Yeah.
At 25, 26 year old, these are big guys, world champions that are in their prime physically. I don't even know if he's in his prime physically yet, because he's 25, 26. He's got another 2-3 years to be in his prime, and he could be a 2-weight world champion, maybe a 3-weight world champion. He's that guy. But you got a lot of guys that want to take their time and say, no, I'll do it my way, and then wait till they're 30 for a world title shot, and then get beat by some young boy, and then it's like, oh, should have done it earlier. Like, and that's no disrespect. It's just people just waiting too long. And if you got the opportunity there, I think you should take it. You never know what can happen. For example, I think Luke Campbell should have been a world champion. Luke Campbell should have been a world champion. In his time, you had someone like Anthony Collar that was a world champion. And Anthony Collar, he isn't as skilled as Luke Campbell, but he had grit, determination, and he would fight. He took a loss, come back. I took like a British level comeback and won. You got to respect that. But Luke Campbell was more skilled. Do you know what I mean? He let all these opportunities pass him by. I don't know what it was behind closed doors, but as a fan, because I was a fan of his, I remember saying Luke Campbell would beat Adrian Broner. Yeah, like that's how much of a fan of Luke Campbell was. And then he took the Mendy loss, and we weren't really quite the same after that. And then now he's getting his world title shot. Okay, I know you fought Linares, but then you're fighting guys like Ryan Garcia. He shouldn't be fighting guys like Ryan Garcia, like what you were saying earlier. When you're an old head, the young guns, you don't really go back and fight.
Yeah.
You kind of leave them to do their thing. It's like you're allowed to ignore them. You've done what you've done. But of course, he needed another shot, so he went for the Garcia fight. And I just think sometimes waiting too long ain't the best bet.
Yeah, 100%. Before we move on, because I want to move on to, because I know you're a big boxing fan, and I want to get your thoughts on a couple matchups and what your thoughts on. Our listeners have been giving a couple comments, so we'll just go through them quickly. 505 or Shiesty, she says 45-second knockout about your Kieran Smith win. Sorry, not loss.
Yeah.
The scream she screamed at that fight.
It's all on camera. She just screamed on the camera. That's funny.
Yeah. Chris Andre, big up Chris Andre. He's got his own channel. He breaks down a lot of these fights. He's brilliant at this.
Okay.
Big up Denzel. Just managed to hop on after work. So sorry if this has been covered, but what specific technical adjustments do you regret not making in the Heaney fight, and do you believe in film study?
That's a sick question.
You know what? I do believe in film study, but it's not something I do, but I should. Do you know what I mean? I watch fighters for a bit. Like what I usually do, I watch fighters from I watch the first round, skip it to the middle round, and watch it to the end. I just want to see their body shape, how they shape up, how they throw their jab when it gets to the later rounds, and okay, cool. I know what you're like. You fade or you get stronger or whatever. The Heaney fight, the adjustments, I wish I stepped off. But where like I said to you, like my head weren't there, I'm just walking forward, and I feel like I'm catching a lot of shots on the glove, if I'm being honest. I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I'm catching a lot of shots on the glove. But of course I'm not getting through. But if I'd have stepped off, he'd had no target in it. But like I said, I'm not even thinking, I'm just thinking, I'm gonna knock you out. I'm not thinking about anything, what I should do, what I should change in the fight. Let me step round, let me throw my. I'm just like, I'm gonna catch you eventually, and you're gone.
Do you know what's mad as well?
You know, it's 12 rounds. Yeah.
What you say? What's mad? What you're saying sounds very similar to what Anthony Yard said in the first Lyndon Arthur fight, where his head space wasn't there, and he just thought, like, yeah, I'm just gonna go for it, and I'm just gonna catch him. And then when those 12 rounds went by, he didn't even realize like those 12 rounds went by, and he just thought, raw, like, what happened here? And it's mad because now you're saying that, yeah, obviously it's like it's common sense, but I think a lot of boxers need to be in the right headspace, and if they're not in the right headspace, they should be allowed to not fight, if that makes sense, because it's at your own detriment. And I feel like moving forward, boxers should be allowed to say like I'm not, like, physically I'm fit, but mentally I'm not fit, because the two go hand in hand, innit? So I do feel like moving forward, boxers should be more, maybe not necessarily not scared, but sort of there should be like an acceptance where boxers can like say like they're not in the right headspace, and it'd be okay. Because I feel like when boxers like say like they're not in the right headspace or whatnot, or if say they want to say that, I think sometimes it could be viewed upon as like, I don't know, maybe like soft or whatever it is. But
yeah, I guess you're right, because I can,
you know what I mean?
I'm good, man. Like, come on, man. I'm not physically injured. I'm all right. I go for it. But and it's funny you said that, because I spoke to Tunde, and then Tunde's like, "Yo, then what happened, bro?" And I'm like, "Bro, head weren't there, man. I know exactly what Ant was talking about that time. Like, I felt it. That like, exact same thing." And
well, what you said literally sounds exactly what he said. Like, and it just went off my head. I was like, bruv, you're to the same thing. And I feel like you just need to be in a space where like boxers should be allowed to say, look, even though I'm physically fit, mentally I just can't be there, because let's say you lose and you say like, oh, like you come out and say, oh, mentally I wasn't there. Next thing people say was just like, so why didn't you say that from the beginning? Or you know what I mean? It's just like,
why you say exactly?
Yeah,
100. And that's why I can't make excuses, because in the lead up I'm just like, yeah, no, man, everything's good. Camp was good in that. But really and truly, like camp was, I'm training, but mentally it's like, am I training for a fight or am I just training? Like, because I'm thinking about everything else. I'm like, I need to get back to this. I need to get back to that. I need to get back to this. And then I get back to it. And the next thing you know is, I ain't even slept properly and going to the gym. And then I'm sparring. I'm just not even thinking. I'm like, why am I getting hit with some stupid shots? I'm talking to myself bare. I'm like, lock in, man. You're moving mad. Like, I just weren't there. Like, in the last couple of weeks of camp, I just weren't there. And it just showed in the fight, innit? So, whatever.
Yeah. But inshallah, we get that back, man. We run that back, man. It's like revenge has no expiry. You know how it goes.
That's true. That's true.
No, but one thing about obviously cancelling fights, I feel like boxing should have a better insurance policy for like undercard fighters, because like you mentioned, you were on I think it was a Sonny Edwards card, and when Sonny Edwards pulled out, they pulled the whole card away. And I feel like I remember I saw that with the Eubank Ben. Remember on fight week, we were all kind of excited, gearing towards it, but then the Wednesday, all that kind of fell apart. And you saw all these boxers that are in the hotel, and they're kind of like, well, what's happening now? And now you see all these promoters kind of just trying to scramble, put them on different fights. I feel like boxing needs a kind of insurance policy that when a fight does a fighter or fighters, an event does get cancelled, that the undercard fighters who will obviously lose more from it, that they're protected more, because obviously they're spending money on camp to go out there, that they're putting in a lot of time and effort, and they might not have the same opportunity to do it again because they're relying on this fight to pay that for them. So Denzel, you there? Can you hear us? Yeah,
I'm here.
Yeah, okay. No, because it kind of froze. That's why I was. I'll just quickly go through the comments. So Chris Welch says, "Big up lads and Denzel." He says, "Social media is full of people with pants around their ankles behind keyboards in their rooms." That is a mad description, but yeah. 505 says, "April's go time." Yeah, I can't wait for you to come back in April. We're all going to be watching and supporting you on from there. Rant says, "Denzel wants to smoke." I love it. Chris also says, "You caused Janibek problems and should have got the decision, in his opinion, that you won that fight." He also says WC love protecting their champions, and that Jamal Charlo is a hospital bed model. Of course, Canelo, you'll cherry pick him and use it and fight him. He's disappointed in Eubank Jr. because he doesn't get why he's not going after Charlo, Janibek, but Eubank only cares about wasting money on poker. Oh yeah, that guy, he does a lot of poker now, isn't it? Like he's got a...
He does,
yeah, he does. He spends a lot of money on that. So.
Allegedly, yeah.
And then 5 Den's spitting right now. I think this is when you were talking about the swerving. This was during the swerving conversations. And Ranch says, "Money without the glory." Word to Ryan Garcia and Tank about the fighters that are chasing the money.
I can agree with the Ryan Garcia part, but Tank, people forget what Tank's done. Tank's even if you don't want to count the regular titles, he's a 3-time world champion at super featherweight. So he's got world titles. Ryan Garcia is probably the richest non-champion ever. He's never even boxed. He's never even boxed for a world title. He's just chasing money. Tank's won a few world titles, and now he's chasing money. I think that's fair.
Yeah, it's good that you brought that because we've always been divided over Tank. My main thing is I feel like his resume doesn't reflect his skills. I think he's a very skilled, talented boxer. He's got it all to be a pound for pound skilled boxer, like that type of level. But if you look at his resume and you compare it, and you kind of look at it and you go, that doesn't reflect the same skills that he has. Would you agree or not?
Okay, but then who are you comparing it to? Like who in that generation of those fighters are you comparing his?
No, but to his skill level and where he is now. So when he fought Pedraza,
no, but his
Go on.
Pardon me. No, I mean like you want to compare him to his peers, right?
Yeah.
So to Haney, Shakur Stevenson, pardon me. Well, that's his name when he's very close. But Teofimo probably has the best resume out of them, not. And Ryan Garcia. Pedraza was undefeated champion when Tank fought him, yeah. Before Regis, what was Devin Haney's best win?
Lomachenko.
Good point. I take it back. But before that, I'm going like.
All right, let's say
that's a good shout. But like they both fought Gamboa. Yeah, like they both fought Gamboa. Like, I mean, Linares was past it. Do you know what I mean? I don't think there was much difference in their resume. But now, yes, you're right. Devin Haney has kind of, slightly crept on with the Lomachenko and the Regis fights. Ryan Garcia's resume is non-existent. I think the only person
I don't consider him like that level. I've never
Luke
had.
Campbell.
Yeah.
I don't rate Garcia.
Ryan Garcia.
I'm the wrong person to talk to Garcia about.
They used to. Fair enough. But they used to call him like the Four Kings. And he hasn't even beat a former world champion before.
Yeah.
No, but that's because of hype, isn't it? I get what you're saying. That's because of hype. But my main thing was when he beat Pedraza, he was 22. He's now like 28, 29. He hasn't had a better win than Pedraza. On paper, like, as an opponent, there's not been a better win since
Santa
Pedraza.
Cruz? Santa Cruz?
Not better
Santa
than
Cruz.
Pedraza.
They're gonna say that he was a weight below or whatever. He moved up.
Yeah, he was also a weight below. But that was a good win. It wasn't better.
No.
Wait. Barrios.
Wait. He was the champ. Yeah, you can. Barrios got
Barrios is a very good win.
It's a good win.
He just beat Ugas.
I think Barrios is a very good win.
It's a good win. I think it's a win that's aging.
Pardon?
It's a win that's aging.
Okay, no, I hear what you're saying. Basically, at that time, Pedraza in his prime was basically like he was a good fighter. That's a very good win. I can understand that. But you look at who did I just say before you said Barrios? Santa Cruz was the champion at that weight, so you can't say he moved up. Tank had already moved to 135, and
that's a good win.
Santa Cruz was a 130-pound champion. He came back down to fighting for both belts.
Yeah, no, I think it was 120. Wasn't it? I think it was 126, or it might be 130.
No, he was a 126-pounder. He moved up to 130, and he won the WBA at 130. Tank had moved up to 135 and won the WBA regular at 135. He then came back down to 130 to fight Santa Cruz for the WBA
130
super heavyweight title and the WBA lightweight regular title. That was the two belts that fight.
But I'd argue that
Santa Cruz was going to be a. Okay, cool.
That's a good point. No, I think what it is with Tank here, I think people just it's more a case of in reflection of his ability. I think that's what it is. I think
people want more from him. I can agree with that,
yeah. We need to get we definitely need to get the Haney fight at some point.
The Lomachenko fight should have happened a long time ago.
It should have, but that's Floyd not wanting to mess with Top Rank.
I get the whole politics side, but at the end of the day, when we're measuring Tank, we can say that these fights should have happened, and it didn't happen. At the end of the day,
you're right. I can agree with that. Still, I think the Haney fight would be good. Well, you just had the Garcia fight. You just said you don't rate Garcia, so yeah. I mean,
in terms of money, it was a good. It was a good
Garcia
thing. In terms of money, it was perfect to take him. Like the amount of money that Tank made for that fight. So I can't.
Yeah, it's true that stupid money still. Yeah.
It's good that you're a good, passionate boxing fan because these next topics are going to get out of you. So obviously, Yard came back. and he had that third round stoppage over Marko Nikolic, and Buatsi kind of came to the post-fight interview when they were sitting down, and it seems like now we're building up towards Yard Buatsi some point. I heard there were reports that obviously they're in talks for a Wembley Arena fight, so obviously there are discussions now over Yard Buatsi. What are your thoughts over that fight, and how do you think it goes?
I think it's a good fight, man. I think it's a very good fight. I mean, it's a fight that we've been waiting for a while. They're both in their 30s now. I hope they're in the best shapes, that they've been in so far. Because that's why we want to see these fights. We want to see these fights when you lot are both in your physical prime. Yard's strong. Yard's strong physically, and you can clearly see he's got punching power. And Buatsi's strong as well. I think his strength is very deceiving because I've done loads of rounds of Dan Aziz, yeah, and I know I'm not the same weight as him, but he's like physically the strongest person I've shared a ring with. Dan Aziz, like his physical presence is just crazy. Like he'd be pushing you back, he's not touching you. You just know that he's just strong. He's just built like a brick wall. But Buatsi's in there. I know they're the same, but he's in there like they're going for it. He's throwing good body shots. But I think it's a tough one, man, because they're both strong. They both got power, but I think Yard may have better movement with his head. He moves his head a lot more. Buatsi sometimes forgets to move his head. He don't move his head. When he's in a tear-up, he just stands there and it's like, okay, my turn. Catch these shots, my turn. But I think Josh has a better punch selection. I think he has a better punch selection. The way he throws his shots, he throws them a lot more sharper. Yard's ones are heavier. So it's just a battle of who's allowed to do what they do. And whoever allows whoever else to do what they do, they're losing that fight. Yard can't allow Buatsi to, let off his punch selection and get comfy and start throwing them body shots. And Buatsi can't let Yard try and overpower him with his physicality and start throwing big bombs at him and just standing there and taking big shots because Yard can punch. But I think what we've seen from both guys is Yard puts a lot into his work early and starts to fade late. You've seen that in his, the 2 world title fights he had, and that's, in my opinion, the only reason he lost those fights because, just the tank wasn't there, and we've seen Josh fade, probably not against as a higher level opponents, but you've seen him fade, but then grit down and get what he needs out of him against Richards and Dan. You can argue that. You can't even argue it's the fact that Yard's obviously fought the two higher positions than Josh has, but Josh has that pedigree as well, and that experience goes a long way. I mean, being an Olympic medalist, coming through the ranks, going to America, I'm guessing he's getting good work. He's getting advice from his favourite fighters like Andre Ward and the guy that trained him. And you've got Yard that's been with Tunde his whole career, and they just gel. So whatever it is. But I think it's generally a good fight, man. I think they both have the ability to beat each other. But it's just whoever imposes what they do better that wins. And I think Yard's only problem, not only problem, but his biggest problem is the later rounds. How he handles the later rounds compared to Josh, if it goes that far. I'm just saying, innit? But yeah, it's how he handles the later rounds, in my opinion.
I think that fight's a lot closer than people think, and I think
it's close.
You see with boxing fans, yeah, they've got memories of a goldfish. It's all about like what he did last, innit? And I think because Buatsi's inactivity, and the ground hasn't looked great in his like, last few fights, I think people sort of feel like it's more one-sided. But I think with Yard, where he lacks in sort of like the experience and whatnot, he's bridging it with his physicality and whatnot. And I feel like Buatsi's, I've always said, like, whenever I've been asked, I always said, like, I feel like Buatsi's more skilled. I feel like he's got the pedigree and the amateur experience and whatnot. But I feel like because of Buatsi's inactivity and sort of like, the inactivity mainly, Yard's bridging that sort of gap with the momentum and the activity as well as the physicality. And I feel like that's probably going to be like the biggest sort of weapon that Yard has is his physicality, because he's so strong, like you said. But that's going to be a massive tear up, man. I think I think they're probably going to try and box each other for a bit, and then them being them, they're going to meet in the middle of they're going to meet in the middle of the ring at some point, and it's just going to be about.
I don't think so. I don't think
You know-
so. You know, I think Yard will try and box early, but I think Josh is just like, let's go. Do you know what I mean? Josh is tough, man.
I've always said about Josh,
guy,
yeah.
man.
I've always said about Josh, like we think of him as this boxer, but he's very much a dog. Like in like the Bolotniks
He's a
fight,
dog.
the Bolotniks fight, he toughed it
Yeah.
out. The Richards fight, he toughed it. Like when we thought he was gonna box, he sort of like went just stood in the ring and went blow for blow. The Aziz fight as well. Like I think there's just he's got like a. I think boxers all have an ego, right? Whereas if you hit me, they feel like they have to give you two back, and I feel like Josh has that in abundance.
That's Josh.
Like,
That is Josh.
And
That is Josh. You see, is that yeah? All right, cool. Let's go.
And
That's Josh every day.
when I watched the Aziz fight, like at times I was just like, get on your back foot, box him. But then it's just like they met in the middle of the ring. I was like, bruv, this is gonna be a tear up. And I feel like I think with Josh, he's got a lot of heart, and I think that's very like I think people don't realize how tough he is. So I definitely feel like it's gonna be a really, really good fight. I can't wait to see him. I think they're talking about it being in a Saudi one, but I think it deserves to be in the UK, man. Like I feel like if it leaves the UK, it loses.
I don't think it can make that. I hear that, but I don't think it makes the Saudi card, depending on what card you're talking about. If it's on that 5v5, it won't make that because obviously Josh is no longer with match.
I think it has to be in the UK just because the essence of the
100%.
rivalry,
the
rivalry is from the UK.
100%.
And I feel like
from the UK.
Man, what a turnout it would be, bro. Like I went to the
that's sold out.
I went to the Aziz Boatsy fight, and I didn't expect the energy to be like that. When I left it, I was thinking to myself, like, imagine what Boatsy Yard could do if this was the energy in the Aziz fight. So I definitely feel like it has to be in the UK, man.
No, I agree with that. I missed the Boatsy Aziz fight. I just caught on telly, but I went to the Yard Lyndon Arthur fight. Atmosphere was crazy for that.
Yeah,
that was a packed out copper box, and I'm like, yo, so you're right. Yard versus Boatsy in the UK, there's no way it's not a sellout, man. It's crazy. That's crazy.
Has to be.
That's a sellout still. That's a sellout.
And British boxing's kind of been a bit stale in the last couple of months. So this fight would be very good for the health of the sport in Britain as well. Like getting a lot of people out there, it will be a big talking point.
Yeah, do you know what it is? I mean, there's been some fights and there's some good fights coming up, but it's how much of a boxing fan you are and if you want to go to the shows, really. But there's good fights coming up. I think the back end of last year. I mean, obviously the last fight of the year was in Saudi, which was a good card, to be honest. But you couldn't get that card anywhere else but in Saudi. So I guess some fights you have to take out there just because of the demand of everyone else. Like it's just like what you're saying about Yard Boatsy. We all feel like Fury AJ should be in the UK, but the demands for that fight, the UK can't. I'm saying we can't give the demand, so it's got to go to Saudi where they can pay them the money that they want.
I feel like Fury AJ, Britain can definitely fulfill the demands for that fight because that's a fight that I think everyone would get out for that fight. Like especially if you do it in Wembley.
It's true, but then
I think
you do Wembley. All right, let's see. That's it. Yeah, fight like you're gonna have to charge more for pay-per-view.
Yeah, I think
tickets are gonna be
Saudi,
very expensive.
I think with Saudi, like it will be like. So, for instance, see, like they talk about like fighters' purses and whatnot. I think Saudi could do that easily and then sort of make the event. So, I feel like the finances will be a lot more easier to sort of like to make as opposed to the UK. I think the UK could make it, but I think there's a lot more like obstacles to like overcome one. And I feel like there'll be a lot more talk about sort of like if you win the first one, then you got to take 40% in a rematch or all that.
Yeah. Whereas Saudi are paying you, don't talk about percentages.
Saudi just take it, fling them the bag. That's it. Yeah.
I mean, it's good that we pivoted to the Saudi card. So I'm going to quickly go through this, get your thoughts on these fights. Because obviously, I mean, this week was meant to be Fury Usyk. unfortunately, we're not getting that fight this week. So obviously, it got postponed. But the next fight that is coming up is obviously Anthony Joshua taking on Ngannou. What's your take on Ngannou, and what do you think about him taking on AJ now?
I think he's scary. Like, the man just come from a next background. He's 37, and he's decking the best heavyweight right now. And then after that, Fury couldn't put a dent in him.
Yeah.
It was mad. I remember I was driving, so I missed it. My dad's phoning me like, "Yo, what's going on? Like, how is this happening?" I'm saying, "Nah, you're making this sound mad. I need to see it. I need to see it." So, like, when I got a chance to watch it, I watched it, and I was like, "Oh, this is what's really happening." Because I'm a believer in, if you don't want to watch it, don't watch it. And I just felt like, oh, Fury just gonna piss it all day. I watched the highlights the next day, so I didn't watch it. I didn't stay to watch it, but I put it on for my dad and my mum, and that. Dad is phoning me like, "No, Dan, you need to watch this. Right? What's going on?" I'm like, "No, you're making it sound mad." They said, "Oh, he dropped him." I'm like, "No, there's no way. It must have been a slip or something." And when I watched it, I was like, "Whoa, this guy just came into the next man's sport and just done a madness." Like, I know it's all fighting, but Fury just overlooked him. Fury's acting like he's training. Fury overlooked him, man. Fury overlooked him 100%. He caught him right on the top of the head, and then when he tried to do his thing, couldn't put a dent on him. Threw a little elbow, and it was like, he just took it. Like, this guy's an MMA fight. He takes elbows. He takes elbows anyway. He probably didn't even notice that was illegal until someone told him after the fight. So I think he's a scary guy, but I think now AJ's seen him, he ain't gonna make the same mistake Fury made. But I don't think he would anyway. I don't think AJ's the type of guy that plays about in training. I don't think he's someone that would under-prepare for anybody. I think he's always on it. You can just tell by his physique. I think Fury plays around a lot, so it's easy to understand that he just done his camp by his coach. I can believe that. AJ, I don't think that's happening. And he's seen how dangerous he is and what he's done to Fury, so he's going to be very on point. And I think he's going to box from range a little bit. He's just going to use these sharp, straight shots and hurt him. I would knock him out kind of harsh. I don't know, but I think AJ will hurt him still. I think AJ will hurt him.
Do you think he could stop him though, like corner stoppage or ref stoppage?
Yeah, I was thinking ref stoppage.
I don't know, man.
I think the ref might
only in the later rounds if Ngannou gets fatigued, if he gets tired. He didn't get tired against Fury, but if he gets tired, I can see him being, yeah, you know what, I don't do 12 rounds. I'm tired. Like how Mayweather have stopped McGregor later rounds. I don't see it as like, boom, he clipped him and Ngannou's like, oh shit. Because in UFC they wear like 4-ounce gloves and you ain't seen him beat that like that. Do you know what I mean? So I know like boxing is very different punch accuracy and different intentions in their punches and stuff. But essentially bigger gloves. The guy's a tough guy. Fury's not a big puncher, so I can't even base it off Fury not hurting him. Because AJ's actually a big puncher. But if he does stop him, I think it'll be later. And it'll be a mixture of him being hurt and he's just tired, he's not recovering. Because he is old. Probably be 38 by the time the fight happens. I don't know. He's 37 already.
Yeah. No, his come up is insane. Like, because I've been following UFC for time as well, and the way the background he's come from, like how he's made it, like it's such an insane story that I'm happy for him that he's getting.
His story's crazy. 100%. His story's crazy. Yeah, it's a movie. Yeah, he deserves everything that's coming from him. Because I mean, to graft that to get to where you're getting, you deserve it, man.
Yeah. Is this a fight you're going to be watching live?
Yeah, I'm interested in this now because I want to say
Wait.
At first, yeah, go on.
Where are you going to be watching that fight? At the watch party?
Yeah, 505 watch party. I'm there, man.
Come on.
Yeah, come on.
I'm there.
Yeah,
Shout out to the 505, man. We're there, man.
Yeah, I just have to make sure that you. Yeah. Come on.
I couldn't make the last one because I just decided to take like a last minute flight to Saudi. I didn't want to miss it. And obviously Zorro was on the last card, but this one I'm there.
Yeah, I'm there too. So yeah, we'll definitely mix it up.
Yeah, sick. Yeah.
That's gonna be great. And it's on a Friday, so it's a bit different to what we're normally used to.
It's on a Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even notice.
It's even mad as well. Like I know it's off topic, but like even like the Clark Woodley fights on a Sunday.
Someone said that to me as well. I didn't even know. I'm looking at the dates. I'm just assuming everything's
Sunday. Like when
I heard it's Sunday because it's bank holiday the next day.
Yeah, I remember I was looking at sort of like the tickets, and it was just like 31st. I was like, cool, 31st. And I looked at the calendar. I was like, Sunday. Surely that's not right, but yeah.
Yeah, I heard it's a bank holiday the next day still, so it might work out.
Yeah.
And then obviously we've got the next big heavyweight fight, which I think is probably the biggest fight of this year, and it's going to determine who the best heavyweight of this era is. Tyson Fury versus Usyk. What's your thoughts on that, and who have you got?
It's a whole nother breakdown, man. But I don't know, man. I think I've just been talking bare.
But, we're enjoying it, bro. Like you're proper. What I love about this is you're a proper boxing fan. So.
Yeah, I am. Maybe too much, man. I need to give it a break, man. Go play cricket or something, or some golf or something. It's mad though. I was actually playing cricket. I think last year I was at the Surrey thing. It's actually kind of fun still.
Oh, what, the cricket?
Still, yeah.
Oh no, I saw that.
Yeah,
I saw that.
I got invited to it. Yeah, it was actually kind of sick still. I surprised. I enjoyed it. I didn't think I would, you know. I was like, right, it was actually kind of fun. But I guess anything's fun when you kind of get help to know what you're doing, how to play it and stuff. But I get that. But Fury Usyk. I've got a case for both guys, but it just depends how much how interested Fury is really. I think it's just up to Fury, man, because Fury just looks like he's made a load of money. He's messing about. He can't really get into that zone no more. It's like he just automatically thinks he's the best. We need the Fury that fought Wilder because of that fear. I don't think there's any fear with Usyk, and that's a dangerous position to be in because then you're not gonna prepare with caution. You're just gonna be that cool. But Fury also, we've seen his weaknesses now. He can't take a shot to the body. It's been exposed. He can't take a shot to the body, and since Dan done that to him, all these clips of his past whatever has come out from the amateurs. And then you kind of think back to the AJ fight when AJ hit him in the body and he said it was low. It was like, that was a clean body shot. AJ should have went back there. But he's just he's very good at pretending that he was hit low. So the referees can't get swayed by that. But so I think Fury's gonna force it a bit, lean on him and try and overwork the body, which can work against him. Because I don't really think Fury's a good body puncher like that. I ain't really seen him go to the body like that. So I think he's just gonna overforce it and try and whatever work from. But Usyk is, you can see that he wants the glory. He wants the glory, which is for his opponent, it's dangerous. I'm saying for him, it's like he's going to be on point. He's going to be wide-eyed. He's going to be ready. Going to be his best. But if I had to put my last pound on it, I think I'm going to go Fury. I think I'm going to go Fury still. But I won't be surprised. Yeah, decision. Yeah, there's no way. It's decision. But if Usyk won, I'd be like, yeah, take my pound. That's my fault. I won't be surprised. Would I mean? I'm gonna be like, roll my pound. I can see Usyk winning, but I mean, if we get 100% Fury, I don't think Usyk should beat him. But I don't think we're gonna get 100% Fury. But I'm hoping we do. If we do, then I think Fury wins.
I think it's one of those fights that's just gonna go to a split decision. I don't know how. I don't know. I've just come to the conclusion. I just come to the conclusion it's gonna be a split decision either way. Like because I feel like you're right in a sense where you can make a strong case for either, and I don't think there's sort of like an overriding factor for any fighter. So I've just said, I'm sitting on the fence and saying split decision either way.
Yeah, that's fair.
All I'll say is, like the businessman I am, May 11th, when we do the breakdown for that fight, tune in then, and then we'll give you a full breakdown of that fight. There's so much to talk about, like you said. Like,
but when is that? When it is? Is that when it is? May 11th.
So theirs is May 18th, and we'll do our breakdown a week before that. So.
Oh, cool. I got you. Yeah. I got you. Yeah.
I'm not bigging up their fight. They're making their money, and they're not going to give me any of it. No, I'm not praying like that. But I'll quickly get your prediction on these last two fights that have been announced, and then because you've given us so much of your time, and thank you for that. Haney versus Garcia, what's your prediction?
Haney.
I think he stops him. The reason I say that is because I've been seeing Ryan Garcia's latest antics. Guy's been drinking a lot. Like his voice is raspy. And
for real?
Yeah, and he's hanging.
Do you know
around
what's so mad? Sorry to cut you, but you know what's so mad?
Yeah, go on.
I heard he's like very bad outside of camp. Not even outside of camp, in camp. I mean, one of the guys, he boxes as well. He went out to camp in Vegas. I think they were at Freddie Roach's gym, and he just said like one morning when they went training, he just said Ryan Garcia just pulled up to the car parks on a mad thing and like stumbled into the gym off his face, like, but like they see the camera or something mad like that. And I was like, for real. This was a few years back, so obviously when I guess he was younger. But I'm like, he's lucky then, because if that's how he lives, his talent has got him quite far.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's it's interesting you say that, because that's what I was told, but I wouldn't have guessed that still. But say, yeah, go on.
Is he still with Derek James?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, is he? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, interesting.
I feel like he just shows me too much where I can't pick against him against fighters, because like in the Tank fight when he said, I wasn't listening to my coach, I was just doing what I wanted to do. I'm like, then why'd you hire a coach in the first place? You're not going to listen to him in a big fight like this. And then you go to Derek James. Well, what stylistically, what did Derek James what does he do that you think is going to fix you as a fighter? And then when we saw him fight Oscar Duarte, which was in I think November or October, he looked like in between styles. He was trying shoulder rolls. He didn't know kind of.
Bro, that fight was mad.
Yeah. So I feel like this fight is just him and his team coming to the agreement. Like, if we're going to lose to someone, let's lose to a Haney. We make a lot of money from it, and then that way our stock doesn't go that down. But he's hanging around with the wrong people, in my opinion. Like, he's chilling with all those Twitch streamers and those influencers and stuff. I feel like that's pulling him off that path, and that's why I think.
So I'm saying it's a social media path, though.
Yeah,
social media. He's gonna generate money being on socials.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, and I feel,
and that's what the game is now.
No one expected Haney to drop Prograis, but he did because of his footwork, and I think that same thing's gonna happen.
Yeah. But the thing is, though, they know each other. They fought 6 times in amateurs. I know they both progressed since then. They know each other. I don't think any of them would allow the other to stop. Then again, I said that about Spence and Crawford, but that's another thing. But I don't think any of them would allow each other to stop each other. I think, and the thing is as well, Garcia does have power, so that might keep Haney at bay a bit. I know Prograis has power as well, but he didn't have the speed to catch him. So that's different. He's going to use his foot. But Garcia has that speed. I don't know why Haney ain't stopped no one in a long time. It's hard for me to see he's going to stop him. But I think it's a wide point decision. I think if he stops him, Garcia's quit. Yeah,
that's what I think. That's what I think as well.
Yeah. I think Garcia's going to be like, forget it.
Yeah.
I think he's got that kind of mentality still.
Yeah, perfect. I can't wait for April 20th. And then obviously on the AJ Ngannou undercard, we've got, I think, probably the second best heavyweight fight this year. Zhilei Zhang taking on Joseph Parker. Who do you think's got that?
Listen, you got to respect Parker. Because why the hell does he need to fight Zhang?
Yeah.
That's a 40-year-old monster that no one needs any part of. It doesn't do anything for nobody. But if you beat him, it's like, oh, wow, you beat. You don't need to leave him on the shelf. He's going to retire at some point. The guy's massive. He's like a 7-foot tall southpaw with quick hands. And he doesn't waste any energy. It's going to be hard to put a dent in it. Hrgović is a big dude.
Yeah.
And he hardly put a dent in him. Joe Joyce is a big dude. Didn't put a dent in him. Parker's not as big as any of those guys. But he's ready to rumble. You got to give it to Parker. He's a G. He's a G. Because I heard about this fight when I was in Saudi. And I thought, there's no way he takes that. There's no reason for him to take. You just be Wilder. You're good, man. But I guess that Saudi money's good. So he's getting back there for Zhang. That Saudi money's good. But Parker's another one, and another heavyweight with a crazy resume, win or lose. Like the guys he's fought, he's fought some names still, from Ruiz, AJ, Zhang now, Dylan White, Deontay Watt. Fought names, man. He's been in there with some heavyweights, man. But I just think the size difference, man, and Zhang's power and his quickness. Zhang by KO, man.
Oh.
Yeah, and I like
points.
Parker. I'm a Parker fan.
I got
Parker. Why? How?
I think no, because like he said there, because of Zhang's size and whatnot, I think Parker just reverts to like sort of like moving around the ring, pot shotting and whatnot.
But remind me of a fight where he's done that. That's not how he fights. I'm sure he's Samoan. He's like one of them. He's a Samoan warrior. Them guys there don't pop shots.
Yeah.
Back.
Do you know what it is? Yeah, I think
he's going for it.
I think because he's got the ability to do it. I think he can do it. But I think since he's trained Andy Lee,
I hear that.
he's become a lot more aggressive and
Yeah.
whatnot. But I don't.
I think he's a good coach as well because he's turned around for him.
I feel like Zhang's a bit flat-footed, and I feel like they're probably going to look at that. And I don't think they're going to. I don't think they're going to want to trade with Zhang, because if you get caught with that left hook, it's night. Right.
But you'd have thought that about Wilder.
No, because I said Parker was going to beat Wilder.
He did. I can back him. He was saying
the moment that fight got made, I said Parker is going to win.
Yeah.
Like,
so what was the reason for that?
Because I thought Wilder had taken enough time out of the ring, and I also believe that
that's fair.
What was my? And I thought like all of Wilder's fights, he lost like 70% of like the rounds in every fight he's been in. And I just thought, if someone's good enough to just keep him honest and like sharp, and they stick on him, he's not going to be able to land that right hand. And that was my thinking. But I thought Parker was going to stop him. I didn't think he was going to win points. I thought he was going to stop him.
Yeah, I can vouch for Mark. He was really like, you were really saying.
No, I think that's a good shot. But I think Parker. I think Parker. I said I think Parker fights one way, and that's aggressively. So like, it's going to be hard for him to change that against Zhang now. Look how he fought George Royce. George Royce is a unit. The easiest thing to do was to pop shot and move around. The guy's flat-footed. He's more flat-footed than Zhang. He's less fluid than Zhang. Zhang is a fluid dude. Like, he's not gonna just make you. Do you know what I mean? Just make you do. He's not just gonna stand there and make you tee off on him. He's gonna cover up, take his time, and when he's ready, then let his hands go. He's got fast hands. I remember the first fight with Zhang and Parker. Yeah, I was on the undercard, so we was at the public workout, and I'm doing an interview, and all I hear is bat, 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 bat. I'm like, bro, who's that? I look back, bro. I just see Zhang on the pads. I'm like, bro, his hands are fast. That is mad. The guy's a giant with fast. He's like, bat, bat, bat. I'm like, that's hard but fast. Like, I look back at Zhang. I'm like, yo, the guy's he's a unit.
Wow.
He's dangerous for anybody. Like, it don't make sense to fight him, and that's why I think what's his face? Eddie Hearn signed him early in his career to keep him from AJ. I'm not saying he beat AJ, but like, he signed him early, and it's like, yeah. Same with Ortiz. Eddie Hearn's smart, He signed a few guys to not fight his fighters, and then like he's left them. Like Zhang, Ortiz, like all these guys, he signed them, and like, yeah, you know what? Maybe we won't take that fight. You lot can do your thing.
The 505 said, Safa really did predict Parker to win. He even shadowboxed at the watch party when he won for real.
I'm gonna try not.
Hey, look, this ain't nice come from Ghana. I've come up with some Tampico. I don't know when you last went Ghana, but
okay.
Oh,
I'm gonna try.
For a minute, have you?
Nah, I haven't been for a time. I ain't been for a time. But I'm gonna try not to shadow box at this watch party because I don't want to make a fool of myself. But yeah, I got caught in the moment.
As long as you don't get caught on camera, you're good, man.
Look, Denzel, look, it's been an hour and a half. Thank you so much for giving us so much of your time. It was honestly a pleasure and an honor. Like, you're such a great boxing fan, and it's such an interesting boxer to talk to. So it was honestly our pleasure having you on, and you're welcome anytime you want to come on, because I know you're very passionate. Like, we have had some of these debates, especially your Tank debate. You can have it with Jide. Jide is very passionate on the anti-Tank side, so you could fight for Tank's corner if you ever come back on with Jide. Like, we'd love to have you back on.
If you don't all like the 505 party, then debate all day, man.
I'm there.
Yeah, we're good. Let's go.
But again, thank you so much for joining, and thank you for everyone else for listening. Please click subscribe. And like I said, we've got loads of specials for you. The first of our specials obviously has to be with Denzel Bentley. Our next one's on Sunday with Zhilei Zhang's manager, Terry Lane. So obviously we were topping up about Zhang. We're going to get more into it and obviously preview that fight on Sunday. So make sure to tune in for that. And I'll again ask questions in the comments, and because we'd love to see that. And again, thank you so much, Denzel, for joining us. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, give us 5 stars. And on YouTube, give us subscribe, like, comment. Follow us on Twitter at Ringside Fracas, and also Denzel's socials are also in the bio, not bio, so the description. So go follow up Denzel, because his career, you got to keep following his career, because he's going to keep giving you those big fights. Again, thank you so much, Denzel, for joining us, and peace.
No, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
So
No, thank you.